everyone. How you doing? Hey, we're doing a podcast today. That's right. Today is the day for the podcast, the Wrench Everyday podcast, where we talk about
wrenching
and
all of the days.
And we talk about every days. That's right. Actually, this is the Wrench Everyday podcast where we talk about wrenching cars and car culture and all that fun stuff. My name is Freddie Hernandez, and you may know me as Tavarish if you are like me and look for cars at really, really bad times. Joining me is my friend, my partner in crime, and my co-host, Mr. Andrew Howell, a.k.a. Finger Gins. Finger. Okay, never mind.
You've ruined it. You're killing it.
I have ruined it.
Killing it.
I have ruined it. You know what? We're just going to mention it by you doing the pantomime motion.
Okay.
So that's how you doing today, man? Well, okay. Now people can't hear what you're doing. You can't. You have to do the little karate effect.
Well, it's recoil.
Oh,
these bad boys are high caliber. You know, I mean, a lot of recoil.
Boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
I'm doing all right. I'm doing. How you doing? Cool.
All right.
All right.
So we have a few questions from our viewers, and if you'd like to ask us a question, you can do so at the wrench. At iWrench. I'm thinking of myself.
The real wrench.
At the real wrench. No, at iWrenchEveryday@gmail.com and at wrencheveryday Twitter. And what do we have today?
We have some questions.
Ooh. Question.
So, you want to are we doing these rapid fire? Or are we just kind of like doing a thing?
Let's see where the flow takes us, dude.
All right. Hey, you all right, dude?
It's like it's
dude,
like super chill. You know?
Totes my goats, bro. Okay, so first question comes from Gregson at RealGregsonM on Twitter.
Do you know that Gregson is the guy I sold my Aston Martin to?
Yeah, all right. So Gregson, he asks, do you guys watch motorsports? Which ones? Why or why not? I have spoken in all caps.
Okay. So, do we watch motorsports? I'll answer, I think for the both of us, no. We do not watch motorsports.
I used to try and catch like an F1 race here and there or some other types of things, but it's not something that I actively seek out.
So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I don't think motorsports is very interesting. No. But before people are like, what? You know,
yeah.
I don't want people to say that.
I think I know where you're going with this.
It's not very interesting to watch on television.
Correct.
If you're at the event, it is a completely different animal.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why NASCAR is the biggest spectator sport, is because if you're there, it is an insane experience.
Yes.
The cars are incredibly loud. They're so fast.
And there's a lot of beer.
There's a lot of beer. There's a lot of stuff going on. Mm-hmm. It's not you sitting on your couch and watching. You're not doing that. It is so much fun. When I went to the Michelin event, when I went to Sebring 12-hour race, I couldn't believe. I thought it was just today's going to be a chill day. We're just going to watch some races. No. This every time those cars go around,
you feel it in your chest.
Yes, you feel it in your chest, your head, your feet, and every other extremity. It's hard to ignore, to be honest.
Now, I will say that there have been a few times where I've watched a race on TV, and it's really gotten me excited. Like I think I've talked about it before, the 2007 Sebring 12-hour race,
right?
Where it was the final laps of the GT3 class, I think, GT2, GT3. Mm-hmm. And it was Porsche versus Ferrari, and these two drivers were basically, it was an automotive fist fight.
Oh, sure. When it's close racing, especially like touring car racing.
Yeah, that was intense. But other than that, it's
you know the cars aren't like that powerful, and they're really not going that fast, but it's just all driver, and they're doing anything to win.
Yeah.
That's great. See, I like stuff like that, but if you're watching a 24-hour race or a 12-hour race, it's going to get a little grating, especially with like a NASCAR race. The reason why people watch on TV is so, if there's carnage or whatever, like there's crashes are a big part of this stuff. So, I don't want to say that most people watch NASCAR for the crashes, But that's
I think like most people watch NASCAR for the crashes.
It's like, watching MMA fight. Like, yeah, I just watch for the technique. It's like, well, you're also watching in case one guy just gets knocked out cold.
Yeah.
And you just want to see that display of.
You're waiting for blood.
Right. You're waiting. You want to see that display of sheer violence. So I think that's why people watch. That's why some people watch it on a very primal level. I mean, I used to watch NASCAR. I like all that stuff. I think it's very interesting. And especially living down here, there's a big following of stock cars and racing in general. But I'm not too big of a sports guy in general. Like,
same.
I'm not. I don't care about. Like, I'll sit and watch a game with my friends as a social gathering. I have no investment in any team. I don't have no investment in any driver or whatever. But I do enjoy. I like the stories. I'm like the guy who buys Hustler magazine. Like, I go for the articles.
Great articles in there.
Great articles. Okay. I mean, when I went to the Sebring event and we hung out with the Corvette team, that was like one of the best experiences ever. Where we got to talk to how people really feel. And
by the way, Hoonigan recently put out their recap of that event.
Yes.
That was really cool.
Yeah. So I was.
You were in the shot in the bus.
Oh, really? Was
yeah,
I?
I saw you. You were on your phone. Or
So
something.
every single moment that they were there, I was there as well.
Yeah.
Literally, I was with Zach from Hoonigan. I was talking to the same guy. Like the group already left. It was only me and Zach, and we were talking to the dude in the Corvette thing, and he was telling us this Dale Earnhardt story, and he was like tearing up and stuff. So it was him and me, and he's like this larger than life guy. He's really like boisterous, not boisterous, but he has a lot of energy.
Yeah, he does.
Kind of like it reminds me a little bit of a sane Ace Ventura.
Yeah, or like Gary Busey with real teeth.
Well, Gary Busey has like brain damage, so like, he legitimately has brain damage from he has like a personality changes from like an accident he had. No, that's different. This guy is like he's really on the ball. He's very he's a little more articulate than Gary Busey.
That's fair. Next up, we have a question from Shane at Bullman Wheezy.
Okay.
Would you consider a restoration project? I feel like you're already in the midst of one of those.
So restoration project can mean a few things. Restoration could mean like an older car that needs restoring from the ground up. Or restoration could just mean I buy a car and then just make it into whatever the car was when I bought it.
I feel like it's more of a refurb if it's a newer car.
Yeah, I think it's just repairs.
Restoration is a lot more involved.
Yeah. So, I mean, would you do a restoration?
If I had the time, the tools, and the money, absolutely. Yeah, totally.
Okay. So let's say, I mean, there are restorations that you can do. You don't have to have $1 million to do a restoration.
Yeah, but I don't have 1 million hours.
You don't have to have 1 million hours. I mean, well, first of all, if you do 1 million hours by weekend by weekend, you'll be done in a few years. Not 1 million hours. I know the math doesn't add up, but I'm saying if it's a long-term project, you can get it done if you're focused and you have clear goals and you do like baby steps. Yeah, you can do it.
Sure, but if I were to do,
what would you let's say you had 50 grand to restore a car, which is like on the cusp of like the really nice older cars.
Yeah.
Like you can get started with that amount of money. And 50 grand is a lot of money for a lot of people. Not me, of course. That's I spend 50 grand for a gas cap. I find 50 grand in my couch cushions. No, but 50 grand is like the starter level restoration somewhere thereabouts for like a vintage car. What sort of thing would you want to do?
I almost feel like this could be an entire episode in and of itself. So I'll try to think of a quick answer.
I don't see why you need to take a quick answer. I think that I have a lot of aspirations as to restorations. I love old cars. Let's do it.
Dang, this is a lot harder than I thought.
All right, so this is the part of the podcast where we ask. You ask questions. Andrew reads them, and then when I ask Andrew the same question, he's like, "You know what? I hadn't considered it."
We didn't write this in the script, so it's hard.
Dang it, that's hard.
Dag burn it, man.
Yes, it is quite hard, but all right, so I can probably start it off, and you can percolate on that a little bit. Is that all right?
I have a couple of ideas. It's going to be things that I've already said that I wanted to do in past episodes, so it's not going to be
we can embellish on that because people might not have watched or listened to our old episodes, which you should, by the way, we are on iTunes and Google Play Music and all that good stuff.
SoundCloud.
But just in case they haven't, what would you want to do?
I would like to do a Datsun 240Z.
Okay.
I would love to do a Datsun 240Z.
Okay.
I love the old Z cars.
So would you do? So a lot of people, when they restore these cars, they do kind of like a slight resto mod. They do like a L26 or L28 engine, which is the 260 or 280Z engine. Would you do something like that?
I would. I would keep the what was the stock motor in the 240?
It's 2.4 liter. 2.4 liter straight six, has like twin SU carbs, I believe.
I would do that, but I would go triple carb. I'll do triple carb. Period. Correct. I'd do triple carb.
Like Weber's or something.
Sure, Weber's or whatever.
Well, the SUs, I heard that the SUs are pretty garbage, like carbs, and they're hard to tune, and the Weber's are so much better flowing. So yeah, it's a big upgrade on, say, like Jags of the same era.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I would do a 240 with some triple carbs, some kind of classy exhaust upgrade, and then I would go mostly stock for everything else. I would probably do maybe some like wheels and suspension, maybe something just to kind of tighten the car up a little bit.
So that car needs a lot of tightening up. I mean, it's an old car.
Yeah.
What about like stuff like brakes?
Oh yeah, sure, brakes.
So would you do?
I guess in that case, it would be more of a resto mod rather than a restoration.
So restoration for me is weird because it's
You're putting it back to basically factory.
yeah, and there's a lot of things wrong that the factory, like there's things that were done in that era that we have moved away from.
So maybe it's a restoration to bring the car back to factory, except update the parts of the car that maybe increase safety and reliability.
Sure. But then at that point, you can say, oh, the car has a little more power, so it can get out of its own way, and you're not a liability on the road when you're trying to get on on an on-ramp. I mean, you can make whatever excuse you want. But I think that when Jay Leno says, oh, this is a completely original, well, except for the fact that we put a vintage air system, it's a car from like 1914. You know, you put an air conditioning system. Oh, we also put like a modern alternator, and we also put this thing and this.
But it's
thing.
still bone stock.
Sure, like, oh yeah, we put Corvette brakes on the front, and like, all right, but I understand it's not to the letter of the law, and it's not to the spirit of the law, but it's like it's close enough to stock and like looks stock, right? And I think that's what a restoration usually is. I mean, there are people that go nuts on restoration. They go like every nut and bolt has to be new old stock from the factory.
Oh yeah.
Or if there's like patina is just basically just
Rust.
the car's old. Yeah. You know, it could be old. It's just, or like sanding marks or something. Like, oh, it's just sunburned, or I don't want to pay for a new paint job. It has patina. The price just went up. Like it's old, like it's falling apart. Look at all that patina just falling off the car. So those people, it can go really crazy, especially when you go to like bi-ply tires and stuff that really isn't that safe. Would you go towards something like that? Would you go like, would it be, 100% stock? Like if you had $1 million and there was like a Gullwing that needed a restoration, a Mercedes 300 SL Gullwing, would you do it like straight from when the car was brand new in 1955?
In that case, yes.
Why?
Value.
So you would want to retain value. So for me, the value of the car is basically like, I never think about the next owner, and maybe that's a problem. Maybe that's a problem I have. Do you ever think about? You ever consider that?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why a lot of the stuff that I do to my cars is typically reversible, and that's why I hang on to my stock parts. I still have basically all of my stock parts for the Mini Cooper, except for the second cat and the muffler. Oh, I still have the muffler actually. So the second cat is basically, and the resonator.
Well, nobody needs a second cat.
Yeah, no.
that second cat could go out to pasture. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but why? Like, are you buying the car specifically to retain some value? Or are you buying the car to, for the next owner to have some sort of?
Not specifically, but I always try to keep that in mind in case the off chance that I do end up having to sell it.
Is there a car that you like? What car would you not want to sell?
My 82 RX-7.
Well, the car,
But I already sold it.
the car you sold already. But
Cars I wouldn't want to sell. So when I was a kid, my granddad had this old white Datsun pickup truck. It was white, had blue, everything interior, and in the
I need to bring that back, man. Blue interiors.
dude, so good. Except for the Honda S2000, that can stay.
Oh no!
Garbage, absolute
What?
garbage. It looked awful. It looked so bad.
The S2000
The
interior.
blue interior on S2000 just did not look, in my opinion, just didn't look good. Anyway,
What about the red one?
yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're not completely nuts.
No. So yeah, it had this blue interior, and in the cup holder or something. I can't. I was a really small kid. Somewhere in the middle of the truck, on the dashboard or whatever, he kept this rattlesnake rattler off a snake that he killed.
Ooh.
And so every time I got in the truck, I had that to like kind of play around with and like just shake or whatever as he was driving along.
What's in those things? Coins.
Rattlesnake bones.
No. Seriously. Like, what's in? Is it like a bone?
I'm not actually sure.
Tell us in the comments what's in a rattlesnake's rattle.
Or just do a Google.
You know what? I'm gonna. Okay, you tell me about your story.
And that's it. That's it. I would like to find that specific truck that he owned and just totally restore it back to factory.
Okay, so what do you think is in a rattlesnake's rattle? What do you think it's? What do you think?
I think it's some kind of bone.
It's a bone. Okay.
Interlocking rings in the rattle.
The interlocking rings in the rattle knock against each other to produce a buzzing sound when the snake holds its tail vertically and vibrates the rattle. Okay. What exactly?
Every time a rattlesnake sheds its skin, it adds another segment to the rattle.
Okay. And an angel gets its wings.
Huh.
Yeah. Okay. So that's
Real quick, when I lived in St. Augustine, right when I moved to St. Augustine, about a mile from my house, they found a rattlesnake
yeah.
that was 15 feet long.
I feel like that's too big.
It's terrifying.
I'm
not really scared of snakes.
I feel like, yeah, I mean, I used to be not great with snakes. Actually, I mean, I was never awesome with snakes, but now that I moved to Florida, like I just don't care anymore.
Yeah, there's everywhere. It's whatever.
But if you see like a giant python or something, like something huge,
Yeah.
actually, like a 15-foot rattlesnake,
You can find a picture of the rattlesnake.
I don't want to do that because then we're gonna have to show these young whippersnappers over
Just Google St. Augustine rattlesnake, and I'm sure it'll come up. There's
Sure.
a picture of a cop holding it up on the end of a stick.
I mean, have you seen? Obviously, you've seen gators, right?
Like in real life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, you live in Florida, right? You have to have seen a gator.
Yeah.
Around here, I live in Lake County, and the gators love to hang around lakes. So there's a retirement community near where I live, and they have the canal runs through their retirement community, and they literally they go outside and the gators, huge gators, will just hang out on their lawns, and people don't care. They're like, they go about their business, and what's a gator gonna do? Eat you? Like, yeah, maybe, but probably won't. So
I mean, they can run really fast, in short bursts.
in short bursts, sure. So you don't want kids and stuff and like little
Pets.
dog pets are a favorite for them. But I saw one gator I did a little tour around the canal over here, and we saw a gator, and it must have been 12, 13 feet.
Oh yeah, easily.
It was motionless. Like it took me a while, and then you realize like, wow, that thing is huge. That's a big animal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with that thing.
Again, in St. Augustine, they have the St. Augustine Alligator Farm.
Oh no! So yeah, I've been there. I've been in the gator. Yeah, is it Gator World or something?
No, it's called the Alligator Farm.
Alligator. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yes.
That is awesome. Anybody going to St. Augustine, you need to check that out because
Yes.
there is a walkway where all they have it's just kind of like their own little swamp.
It's a giant pit full of
It's a
giant
pit
gators.
full of gators, and you can
Giant.
feed them.
Yes.
And you feed them, and they go nuts.
Yeah, you can feed them nutria.
Yeah, like these little pellets. Like you put a
No, nutria. It's a type of rodent, almost like a capybara.
Well,
They live in the swamps in Louisiana.
Oh, so no, I didn't see it. So when I went, they had these little dispensers, like you put in a quarter,
Oh,
and
oh.
they give you these little pellets.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure if that's ground up rodents or something. I have no idea. But yeah, they have the little pellets, and you throw them, and they go nuts.
Oh, yeah.
They go absolutely bonkers. And they had this really big gator, like they called him. I can't remember what he called him. I don't know.
So that's not a gator.
What was it?
That was Maximo.
Yes.
He's a crocodile.
Yes.
They get bigger than gators.
Yeah, but he died though, and it was like a big deal. And
No, it was Sobek that died. Maximo is still there.
okay, Maximo's still there, but
Yeah.
yeah. So they had this. I think. Well, he was around a long time, and then he died. But they have his skull like still there, and
They
it's-
also have a scale model, like a
yeah,
one-to-one scale model. Of
yeah,
him.
it's
Yeah,
ooh,
just mind-boggling.
wow.
Yeah.
But they also have the Gator shows, and you know they do all the. I don't know what the mentality of those people that do the Gator shows is.
Oh, yeah, the gator wrestling and stuff.
Yeah, I mean they put their head in the like. Listen, I understand. You know, it's interesting for people to see, but if you're doing this like 3 times a day, like you're playing the law of averages real good.
Yeah.
And I've seen enough of those, you know, the Fox TV shows where, like, and then the unthinkable happened. Like, it wasn't really
Yeah,
it wasn't unthinkable. Like that's pretty much.
in the gator's mouth. Like the gator's mouth is designed to like close.
So
real hard.
yeah, real hard and not let go, and then do the spin.
Welcome to the Gator Everyday podcast.
Exactly. It's like the Chris Rock bit is like that tiger didn't go crazy. That tiger went tiger. Yeah. Like that's what he's supposed to do. Okay, so enough about that. Unless we're talking about gator skin on your seats.
Which I would not do.
No.
No.
Did you know that the BMW M5, the E39, had ostrich skin? I had it on my E39, but it was not real ostrich. It was a simulated texture. So they were like, you know what people really want? You know what our buyers would really love instead of like leather? Ostrich.
Big old bird.
Something like an emu. Yes.
So that thanks Shane for that question that led us on a meandering path of.
Hope you like gator talk. Hope you like that
Hey.
hot gator conversation.
Next one comes from I Huff Freon.
You probably should not do that.
Yeah, probably
you
not.
should stop immediately. Don't do that.
And the question kind of goes along with it. Would you install a mini bar where the broken radio would go?
Okay, so I made a post today about my radio in my Lamborghini, and maybe I should give a little bit of a primer to that. My radio does not work. My stereo, my head unit, my Pioneer Avic 8000 NEX or NEX 8000. I don't know which one. But it does not work, and I thought that hey, maybe I'll take it apart and see what's what. I looked at the wiring, and the wiring is really bad, but all the power and ground are in the right place. So I think it's the radio problem. I think the radio just popped.
Sounds like a problem for C-Kane to solve.
So C-Kane, in their infinite wisdom, there is a language barrier, as you can imagine.
Yes.
So I said, hey, here's the radio I need. Can you send it to me? And they go, that radio does not fit that car. And I go, I know which car I have because it's an Audi radio.
Yes.
But it's my car is a Lamborghini, and they don't have radios for Lamborghinis. I go, I know which radio I have. Just send me this radio. They go, well, we can't send you the radio because it's a different plug or something. And I'm like, I don't care about the plug because I'm doing a custom install. Like the plug does not matter to me. But they were like, oh, you have to pick another radio. I'm like, okay. At this point, I'm pulling my non-existent hair out, you know? So that's one thing I don't like about dealing with them because they're not very receptive to this sort of thing. But what I've noticed with China is that money kind of talks. And no offense to any Chinese people, but like China is a very capitalist economy.
Oh yeah, very.
They've really, like, if you want to talk about the Wall Street executive loving capitalism, like they have nothing on somebody in China wanting, like, having something to sell because they are real good at pushing product. So the people at C-Kane, they got back to me. Now they're like, okay, well, can you send us a picture of your plugs and we'll send you this? Like now it's like, you know, when I shut up and now I'm saying, well, that's the only one I need. Like I can't pick another one. Now they're like, okay, well maybe we can make it work or something. It's so weird.
I actually was thinking about getting a CKN unit for my ST because the Sync Touch 2 or whatever it is, it's not that good.
So it all depends on what you want and what, like, there's little things that are a little bit tough to deal with. Not tough, but if you're a perfectionist, if you need everything to be 100%, there are a few things that are lacking. Meaning that if you don't have anything connected, there are spelling incorrections on, like, instead of it saying Bluetooth is not connected, it says Bluetooth is no connection, like, or Bluetooth is not connection or something. Right?
I don't care.
Yeah, if it's or it's what else does it say? It's just minor spelling incorrections and stuff. But the unit itself, it's very responsive, super responsive. One thing I don't like is that it's not really good in direct sunlight, which sucks for me because the two cars I'll have it installed on is two convertibles, and that's all it gets, direct sunlight. But then again, I think that's the case with basically anything.
Well, for me, it doesn't really matter because I have like wicked dark tint in my car.
Yeah. So I don't think that would matter.
Yeah. How much are these units? Like $300, $400?
It depends. It goes from like 300 to depends. They have like different tiers. They go up to like $550 but they have add-ons, so you can have like a TV tuner, you can have DVR, you can have front and rear cameras, you can have parking sensors, stuff like that. Just all the stuff that you can get cheaply in China, you can just add on to this, and you can make for a pretty decent all-around system. I mean, it's not going to be as good as OEM in terms of functionality, even though it's very good. Like, it can tie into your buttons on the steering wheel and all that stuff. My Lamborghini doesn't have any, which is weird, right? But it's just, I mean, you've tried it. You've tried it on my car, right?
I've seen you use it. I've never actually tried it in person.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, like, as far as Android goes, super responsive. You can download anything you want.
And now I have an Android phone, so I feel like the connectivity would be a little better.
Yeah, the connectivity is fine. I've had no problems. It always connects to Wi-Fi, and then it updates automatically.
That's cool.
It has Google Maps, Waze, all that stuff. You could tether off your phone, and
I have that now. I can use my phone as a hotspot.
Yeah. Oh, you don't have to pay extra. You don't have to pay extra for. Doesn't Apple charge you extra for that?
It's extra for either, but I got it just in case I needed it.
So with Android, you can actually unlock your phone and you can just get it for free, because that's a locked feature.
I think it's like $5 a month with my plan. It's not like a big deal.
Or you can save $5 a month by just unlocking your phone, which probably costs $200.
I'll be okay.
Yeah. So the CKN unit is good. I don't have any complaints. The installation, the instructions could have been a little better because there were like two wires that were kind of. They weren't, well, they were reversed. There were two harnesses that were supposed to be, like, one was supposed to be another color, but I figured that out pretty quickly, and it's just, that's how you do it. But why do you want the CKN for your car?
It's just the Sync Touch 2, whatever the heck it's called, in the ST. It's very limiting. It's not very responsive.
Can you upgrade to the newer one? Can you upgrade to the 3?
Yeah, for like $1,500.
Really?
Yeah.
What if you buy one used?
I don't know.
If you buy one used on eBay, can you just like?
You switch out the screen and the brain, and that's it.
Really?
Yeah.
So there's no coding involved, nothing like that.
Nope.
So usually there's some coding on I know on the Lamborghinis it's all Audi, so like you have to code it, and
right. Yeah.
It's stupid. It's a radio.
No, I know somebody that actually got it for like $50 off of some website that I don't remember, and they got it out of an a wrecked Escape. It's like this website that junkers will put on. I think it's just like car-part.com or something.
Oh yeah. So CarPart is it's a directory for junkyards.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's perfectly fine. But all you need is the screen and like what about the surrounds and all that stuff? Is that all the same? Is the screen?
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same size screen. It's just an updated screen and an updated brain, and that's it.
So can you do anything as far as video on those things or no?
What do you mean?
Like, can you play videos? Can you do is there a browser or anything like that?
So I can actually do video on my car now. In the center console, I have composite inputs.
Composite. Wow.
So
we're living in the future.
I could grab my Sega Saturn and plug it into my car and play Sega Saturn while my car is in park.
Well,
Or it's
my
parked.
my broken Pioneer head unit has HDMI. Look at that.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I wish it worked. I wish it worked, but beggars can't be choosers. I think I will have to get a C-Cane and listen to that horrible sound of the exhaust. That'll tide me over for a little while. I am kind of pissed off that the radio is broken because it is a nice unit, and I was thinking like, oh, maybe I'll keep it for a while, but maybe somebody will have an idea that I didn't think of, or maybe there's like a weird on switch or something that I didn't think about. But as far as I figured out, there's 2 powers and 1 ground, and those are good. And I plugged it in and it doesn't work. So seems like it's a broken unit to me. But okay, no, I would to answer that question. No, I would not put a mini bar because first of all, I don't drink, and 2, why would I put a mini bar in my car? And also, that's like the worst place to put it. You'd probably put it in the front trunk because that's like the best place to put things.
It's a party zone.
It's the party zone.
Party zone.
Yeah. All right. So we can get to one question really quickly.
This will be easy because it's not really a lot of details here. From Wildcats for Life.
Ooh, is that Sandra Bullock from Speed?
I don't know, but thoughts?
Do you not understand that reference?
No.
Oh, okay. All right,
Thoughts on buying a 2-year-old car from a dealer with only 6 miles on it? Depends on the car and the price.
That's very vague.
Yep.
I mean,
all right, cool. Thanks for the question.
with only 6 miles on it, so it's probably a car that not a lot of people want. So I would say that you'd probably get a sizable discount because, and also 6 miles. It's not a lot of mileage to test a car. Like usually they have a little more mileage on them for testing purposes.
Yeah.
And so it's probably a more pedestrian car, I'd say, like more kind of economy car. So maybe I don't know.
I don't know, man. Work a deal.
Yeah, work a deal.
You didn't tell us what kind of car it was, so
No. There's a lot of information lacking. I mean, what dealership, how much it costs, and
so should I upgrade the thing on my car?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, you definitely should. Like thoughts, it's like I have some thoughts, mainly what?
Be gone, thoughts.
Okay, so yeah, I think we can answer some more questions. We have some more submissions and all that good stuff in the next podcast, and you guys can listen to that wonderful thing tomorrow because we do this every single weekday. And if you'd like to ask us a question, you can do so at iWrenchEveryday@gmail.com, and you can hit us up on Twitter and Instagram at Wrench Every Day. Not 2 ats, but at Wrench Every Day. You can get at me at the Real Tavarish, there's Instagram and Twitter, and Andrew can be found where?
I can be found on the Instagram at HeavyMetalFL or on Twitter at 1565. That's the word 15 and the number 65.
Great. Okay, so until next time, this is me, Tavarish, for Andrew Howell, reminding you guys, as always, to wrench every single